Now, today, I want to introduce you to a couple in our church that have reorganized their lives around eternal priorities. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome the Derloshons?
Thank you.
Hey, Adam. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. You guys have a seat. You know, when you come to the Vineyard and you look at the print material, the program you have, the outline, and all the PowerPoint stuff, and all of our publications and communications here at the Vineyard, I want you to know that Adam's the guy who puts that all together. Let's give him a hand. Yes. He does such a great job. Thank you. Yeah, so you guys, you've experienced a radical change in your hearts, and you have an amazing story. Tell us a little bit about what your lives were like before you came to this major change in your hearts and lives.
Well, Christie and I are lifelong Southsiders. Graduated from Southport High School back in '99. So followed that up, went to Ball State, and we got married. We're getting ready to celebrate our 10-year anniversary this December. So, yeah, we've pretty much been together since we were little.
After Adam graduated from college, we started chasing after the American dream. We bought a brand new house. Actually, we had a brand new house built. We bought a brand new car, and we became pregnant with our first child. So.
Wow. You didn't waste any time, did you?
No, that was about, what, 6 months, 8 months, something like that. It was just whoop,
6
right
month
through
period of time. Wow. So you're like on this fast track pursuing the American dream in your lives, and then there was change took place. Tell us a little bit about that change and how you felt, what you experienced.
Really the shift was we had this reprioritizing when we started to become more generous, when we were more giving of our time and of our resources, both physical possessions and then also money. When we started doing these things, we noticed that God started to transform our hearts, to shape and refocus our hearts. The things that were important to us before weren't as important. And then God started to place these crazy passions on our heart that we would have never envisioned had been there even just months prior.
What was one of those crazy passions, and what did that translate into?
As God was changing our hearts, I really began to feel like our family should adopt. So I prayed about it and felt like I should tell Adam. So we were sitting down for coffee one night, and I told him that God was telling me that we should adopt. And he said, well, God's telling me the same thing. It was at the exact same time.
It's a good thing you guys were in agreement. Yeah. So then what did you do with the adoption? Where did you go from there? God was telling you to adopt. Then what did you do?
Well, we prayed about it, and we started headfirst straight into it. The hardest thing with the adoption, it was kind of this moment in time where we kind of gave it all up and just placed our complete faith and trust in God that He knew what He was doing. Because, I mean, I've never made a whole lot of money, so we didn't really have the money to adopt from the outset. And then also, our hearts were in Africa, so we really felt called to adopt from Ethiopia. And we didn't necessarily know how our family and close friends and anyone were going to react to that news. I mean, you know, we already had our 2 biological children, and yeah.
Okay. So what about your experience? You go to Ethiopia to adopt your son, and his name is?
His name, we call him Zeke. His name is Adam Ezekiel. His birth mother named him Adam without even knowing that his name was Adam.
That is pretty amazing, isn't it? That's like confirmation, huh?
Yeah. Totally affirming of the whole situation.
What was your experience in Ethiopia? What was that like?
When we were in Ethiopia, we saw extreme poverty like we had never seen before. I vividly remember a mother laying on the sidewalk, covered up, sleeping in the middle of the day while her 8 or 9 month old baby was sitting next to her playing in the dirt, and it broke my heart. I realized at that point that they were lacking the basic necessities, the basic things that they needed to survive. And I just felt like they needed help.
Yeah, actually this picture on the screen back here, this isn't the mother that we were actually talking about. This is a separate mother. We were actually out in the city. We were getting some knickknacks for our kids because, we leave for a couple weeks. We want to bring something back. So while we're there, this woman approached us, and she was asking for 1 burr. And it was just to be able to purchase some food so she could feed her baby. And 1 burr, there's 17 burr. Actually, it's like 18 burr now to the U.S. dollar. So you're looking at, it's the equivalent of about 6.5 cents is what she was asking for. That's all she was asking for.
Wow. So there's a big, a radical transformation, a change to become more outwardly focused in your lives. And, it started with the adoption and right along with that, with a call on your lives to be missionaries. So I'm sure this was kind of like a new normal for the two of you. In very practical ways, how did you respond to this call, knowing that your life is moving in a different direction now? What did you do? Well,
what we realized, and I know when I've spoken with friends that have gone through similar things, when you witness these types of events, these types of conditions, it has this just total, it just floors you, and you don't exactly know. So we had prayed about it, and what we had realized, we came to the realization that our lives were filled with just too much stuff. It was just consuming, it was clouding up.
Stuff, what would you call that stuff?
Crap. I don't know.
I just want to make sure that we're talking about the same kind of stuff. Okay.
No, it was just random. Just random stuff. Just the stuff that consumes our everyday life. It's just like you said. When you're following the American dream, you're just pursuing what's going to make you happy. And what you do is you realize that there is so much more to this world than ourselves. And I think it's coming to grips with that and to realizing that, well, hey, there's a whole other world out there, and there are people that are starving, and there are people that are dying every day.
So you started like a process of simplifying your lives. What was that like?
As we started simplifying, we felt called to become missionaries in Ethiopia. You want to go?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so here we are, and this was another moment, like kind of the central activity in all of this is prayer. Both of us praying together and then praying separate, and we were unsure about the whole missionary thing, but God was affirming it, do it. So we didn't know where to start. I honestly feel like the most unqualified person in this room. It's only through His grace that I can even come up here and speak. But we started to simplify our life, as Jim was saying. So we sold our house, the brand new house that we had bought at the beginning of our marriage. We sold it. It was about 1,800 square foot. We moved into an 850 square foot rental just a couple miles south of here. And in the process, obviously, that much stuff can't fit in that small a house. So we got rid of about half of our stuff. And additionally, we ended up transitioning from a 2-vehicle family to a 1-vehicle family, which it's brought us all closer together. Instead of going our own separate ways, we're in it together.
So you guys are truly doing what we're talking about in this series. You're discovering joy through developing this lifestyle of simplicity and generosity. Well, what does it look like for the future? What's around the corner? What are you looking at?
Early next year, our family will be moving to Ethiopia. We'll be working with an organization called Embracing Hope, working in the slums of Addis Ababa, which is the capital of Ethiopia, working with single mothers and their children to help lift them out of the poverty that's been happening for generations and generations, to give them hope and give their children a future.
Yeah, a lot of these, just knowing from experience, a lot of these moms that are currently involved in the program are making like 75 cents a day. And then when it comes to the end, they're paying 85% of that back just for rent. So then they're finding themselves like, well, what do you do for food? Well, they just don't eat. So they have no nourishment. Their children are on the brink of starvation, and they're on the brink of basically giving up their children for adoption because there's no way out of it. So we just want to go there, and we want to shower them with compassion and with love and just help lift them up spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, just giving them the goods to really break the cycle of poverty that's plagued generations.
So you're bringing hope to a very hopeless situation then.
Totally.
That is awesome. God bless you guys. Yes, you get that. Isn't that great?
Thank you.
If you want to hear a little bit more from the Derloshons, on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock in the village, they're going to be sharing some more about what they're doing. So if you want to come to that, we welcome you to come to that. God bless you guys. Thank you for being here today. All right. God bless you. God bless you. All right. Yeah, they're my heroes. I'll tell you what. Isn't that challenging? You know, God's story, His purpose, and His plan for each of us doesn't always look the same. It's a little different. And I realize for some of you right now, you're probably thinking, especially with this last point, you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, look what happens when you totally trust God. But if you were to talk to the Derloshons, they would tell you they're experiencing more contentment, more joy, more of a connectedness, and they have more confidence in their lives right now, because that's what God gives you when you truly trust Him with all of your heart.